It started with a message posted around 1:40 a.m. on a private forum. Not one of the main fandom hubs, but one of those older threads people forget they're still logged into. A user with no profile photo wrote, "Was that Taehyung? Park Hyatt lobby? Girl in blue jacket?" At first, no one responded. Then someone else replied, "Wait, the girl with the white tote? I saw them go in. No manager, no staff, just them." Screenshots followed within minutes. Grainy, slightly tilted, timestamp from a phone's lock screen. One showed the lobby's reflection in the elevator mirror. Taehyung's posture unmistakable to anyone who's followed him for years. Not posing, not hurrying, just walking. The girl was next to him, but slightly ahead. The way people walk when they're not pretending they aren't together, but also not making a point of it. And that was the first thing fans latched onto. Not her face, not even her identity, just the angle, the pace, the absence of anyone else. There was no one behind them, no one ahead. A late hour, a public space, and still, someone had time to raise a phone. Not paparazzi, not media, a regular guest. The lobby wasn't empty. A man with a suitcase turned his head. The receptionist glanced up, but no one said anything. That's what made it worse. Not a secret moment, just a quiet one. Seen, not explained. And now, it's everywhere. By morning, the screenshots had made their way to Twitter. Not trending, not yet, but scattered across replies and quote tweets like shrapnel. One of the photos, cropped too tightly, started circulating with the caption, "That's not staff protocol." Others began zooming in on the reflection in the glass, trying to match the outline of the girl's bag to previous airport photos. Someone insisted it was the same person seen near Taehyung at an exhibition last month. No proof, just posture. But it wasn't the girl that held attention. It was the absence of protocol. Where was the escort? Why no umbrella? Why that entrance? Fans weren't whispering about romance. They were arguing about context. One thread noted that the Park Hyatt lobby had multiple access points. So why the main one? Why the one still lit? A translated cafe post claimed staff had been told to leave earlier than usual. Another user pushed back. He could have waited 10 minutes. It's Seoul. People don't stop watching at midnight. And that became the center of the unease. Not what happened upstairs, not what it meant, but why it happened there, under visible lights, with no buffer. Not hidden, not claimed, just seen, too plainly. By early afternoon, someone uploaded lobby security footage. Shaky screen recording, no audio, timestamp blurred. It lasted 4 seconds. Taehyung walks in first, glances once toward the reception desk, then looks straight ahead. The girl follows, just a step behind, but doesn't pause. No hats, no masks, no hesitation. The lobby isn't crowded, but it's not empty. 2 staff members visible, one checking his phone, the other behind the desk, glancing up but saying nothing. In the corner of the frame, someone starts to raise a phone, then lowers it. That moment spread faster than any theory. He saw the phone. He looked directly at it. He knew. Suddenly, the conversation shifts. No longer about who the girl is, but why there was no adjustment. No cap pulled lower, no step back. One account posts. He didn't even flinch. Another replies. It was like he wanted it to be seen. Replies pile up in minutes. Defensive, confused, furious. Not him being careless. Not here, not now. A fan thread cross-references schedules. This wasn't a break. This wasn't post-event. There were other routes, private elevators, side access. He chose the front. That phrase begins repeating. Over clips, over captions. Not scandal, not shock. Just that quiet, spreading phrase. He chose the front. By late evening, the narrative fractured. Not into sides, but into layers. One side of fandom insisted on silence, deleting posts, locking threads, urging everyone to wait for facts, though no one was sure what facts they were waiting for. The other side leaned into forensics. A user dug up floor plans of the hotel, highlighting 3 alternate entry points, 2 of which led directly to private elevators. Another reposted a 2022 interview where Taehyung had mentioned preferring quiet lobbies at night. The quote wasn't even about hotels, but it started circulating as if it explained something. Fans clipped the footage again, frame by frame. In one slowed-down version, someone noticed the girl briefly touch her hair just before the front doors. A casual, instinctive gesture. Not performative, just unguarded. And in that stillness, the discomfort grew sharper. He let her do that. Right there. One post read. The replies were vicious. So, she's not staff? So she knew cameras were there? Why wasn't he looking around? A long post in a private Discord detailed the exact second he passed under the overhead lights. Too bright. Not accidental. Another account mapped the timeline against another member's livestream, suggesting overlap, not because it proved anything, but because it made the choice harder to ignore. Still, there were no official photos, no media coverage, just fan-sourced fragments, and that made it worse. Screenshots with shaky focus, threads filled with deleted tweets. One user claimed a cafe had been cleared that same night, hours earlier, possibly for a meeting. Another denied it, said it had nothing to do with BTS at all. But the noise didn't stop. Even unrelated posts under Taehyung's name were suddenly filled with vague replies. Not tonight. Should have waited. You saw the lobby, right? And in each one, not outrage, not heartbreak, just a particular kind of disbelief. Not that he was with someone, but that he didn't care who else saw, that he let that moment stay visible. Too visible, too quiet, too direct. By midnight, the conversation had metastasized, no longer about the girl, not even about Taehyung, but about the space he occupied and the rule he seemed to bend by standing there. An international thread with over 12,000 reposts condensed the unease into one question. Why didn't he choose somewhere else? No anger, just that flat, sinking disorientation. Not what he did, but where he allowed it to be seen. A fan edit began circulating, split screen. On one side, the footage from the lobby. On the other, a past clip from a fan meeting where he'd smiled shyly and said, I'm always careful. No caption, just silence between the two timelines. And that silence hit harder than any denial could have. Underneath, the comments blurred into each other. So, what changed? He used to be so intentional. Not judging, but really? There? Entire fan pages locked. Archive accounts went dark. One popular fan artist posted a blank story with a single timestamp. 1:41 a.m. No explanation. Everyone knew what it meant. One of the hotel staff, anonymous, unverifiable, posted and quickly deleted a message. They didn't look like they were hiding. That line alone triggered hundreds of replies. But they should have. That's not the point. It wasn't private enough not to hide. Even casual observers, people outside the core fandom, began sharing the footage, but without context. Just, why is this so uncomfortable? Theories started looping. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe she was staff after all. Maybe he didn't see the phone. Maybe he didn't care. But none of those maybes softened the tension. Because it wasn't about proof anymore. It was about placement, presence. The fact that in a city built on discretion, he stepped into a place with mirrors, lights, open sightlines, and did nothing to retract. He walked through a visible door with a girl who didn't step aside. A fan forum melted down after one user wrote, he could have waited 10 seconds. He didn't. The comment was downvoted, then upvoted, then copied into threads far outside fandom spaces. And somewhere in the middle of all this noise, something else shifted. Not betrayal, not exposure, just a crack in alignment between the version fans were taught to expect and the one that walked across the Hyatt lobby without looking back. The girl still isn't identified. The hotel won't comment. The staff won't confirm. And Taehyung, silent. No live, no statement, no clarification. Just an empty post, hours later, of a sunset photo with no caption. The comments below it aren't angry. They're worse. They're blank, paused, hesitating, as if waiting for someone to go back in time and walk through another door, one that wasn't already open.